Well, good morning. I am actually, so you're going to see repeated messages, and I already apologize for that. Because, well, let me see. And now it's not even showing. Maybe it'll catch up in a second. But how are you guys? I'm doing well this morning. I'm actually streaming to 3 places this morning. That's why there's issues. Edit. So I'm trying to see why it's not showing up the chat box. So save. Let me see. It was showing yesterday, but I guess throwing Kick into the mix, it's like, I don't really know what's going on. Oh, I know what it is. I changed up my username on Twitch, and I forgot that it was gonna make everything freak out. So the only thing I did with my Twitch username is I added VT, so it was the same across the board. So I don't know. I don't know. Cause it should be connected. Let me find it. Okay, so that's connected. So I don't know why it's not showing. 1 second, you're gonna see Lumia stream pop back in. Okay, there it goes. I didn't know why it was acting up. Okay, so we should be good. And you guys can hear me, right? Y'all got me working on stuff. Okay. Okay, I wanted to make sure. Because every time I change something, I gotta fix it, like instantly. So, yeah, so we got it fixed. But yeah, so maybe, I don't know. I think I made it disappear. But, yay, headbeds, thank you. But yeah, now we're live on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick. Because I've heard decent things about Kick, I've heard that it's easier to monetize, I guess. But also like Forged by Grace also uses it in multi-streams to Twitch and Kick, and he's liked it so far and has had some success with it. So yeah, we're just trying to get as many people to hear the gospel as we can. And I did notice one thing with Kick is they don't have like a Bible reading category. So, and there wasn't a lot when I was looking at. Correct. And I agree with that. But I think there's more opportunity. Good morning. Hello, Air. It's been a second. But I did see you in Discord yesterday. I think yesterday. Yeah, but I will say Kick has the opportunity to grow when it comes to I think Bible content. Because I wasn't able to find a lot, because I tried looking a couple times yesterday to try to find like some Bible content, but I couldn't really find anything. So I think that's kind of gonna help a little bit. Gonna colonize other live streams like the British. Correct. We're going to colonize. We're going to put the gospel everywhere we can. No, I want to do TikTok. maybe. TikTok is just weird though. And it's hard to have because I have to watch the YouTube studio. Once I have a third monitor, I'm probably going to put my third monitor up and have this is going to sound wild and have like the YouTube and the Kick there so I can keep an eye on them. But yeah. I don't know. But we're doing the ad break for TikTok, Twitch, and then we're gonna get started. But let's see what the verse it gave us. While we wait, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. And that's a verse I needed today. I have to ask the elders of my church to let me go today. So much fun. It's going to be a long day because I have that and then I have to still participate in this meeting. But this is going to be my last week at my church because of all the drama and everything. So yeah, tons of fun. So much fun. But hey, that means I get some more time to hang out with you guys and deep clean my house and just purge and get rid of things. So that's going to be my next projects. But I did get, while Steam is having their sales, I went ahead and got Mortuary Assistant, I got The Witcher, and I got Kingdom Hearts. Hi, Lo-Fi. Good morning, good morning. No, not that purge, Cody. Cody, put the knife down. Put the knife down, Cody. No. Yeah, we're in the ad break. We're almost done. We'll be done in... Bringing a knife to a gunfight. See, Error's got Error knows what's up. But Cody, put the knife down. We're not doing that. We're not doing purge. We're doing purging of stuff. Purging of stuff. But let me let me go ahead. We should be okay now. So kick might be too much. So kick might be too much. So, but I don't know. Forge BibleBot works with Kick. So I might do Kick over YouTube because YouTube really doesn't have the discoverability. But we're gonna see. I'm gonna leave YouTube going for today. And then we'll just kind of go from there later on. But Lo-Fi, hello. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. But yeah, we are gonna be in Genesis. Yeah. It does, but that's only like one extra step I have to do in Twitch. So there's also that. So I'm not sure. We're gonna see. It does help a little bit, but hello, welcome in. How are you today? We are going to be starting in Genesis 11 today. Why are you eating habaneros first thing in the morning, Cody? Is that an excuse just to drink milk? But welcome in. We have a lot of people in here right now. Good morning, Jittery Squirrel. You made it. I'm so excited. So if anyone wants to follow along, we're going to be in Genesis 11. We got through Noah's Ark. So now we're going to be at the Tower of Babel. I was trying to multi-stream to YouTube and Kick, but Kick said nah. So I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to do YouTube or Kick. So I'm gonna think on it. But we're gonna go ahead and get started on Genesis 11. Let me get a sip of water. Everybody else should also be drinking some water because it is getting too hot. Okay. So, Genesis 11, the Tower of Babel. Now the whole world had one language and a common speech. No, water, Cody. As people moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. They said to each other, "Come, let's make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used brick instead of stone and tar for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens." Y'all are wild. Drink some water, please. So that we may make a name for ourselves, otherwise we'll be scattered over the face of the whole earth. Actually, I do have some news. Other news. I applied yesterday to, instead of have a code with advanced for like the powders and stuff, I actually applied to be an ambassador for Agape Energy, their energy drinks. Hi, Gigi. So I just applied for that yesterday. So we'll see. But they're a Bible-based energy drink company, and they're actual energy drinks instead of just like the powders. So we're going to see. They do, actually. I've never seen them in person. The big monster cans. Well, the white ones anyway. I've seen the green. But yeah, that was the other news I had. I forgot to tell you. So we're going to see. I just applied yesterday, so it'll probably be a little bit before I hear back. But let's keep going. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. The Lord said, "If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and confuse their language so they will not understand each other." Yeah, we need to see it, Cody. So the Lord scattered them from there over all the earth, and they stopped building the city. That is why it was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the whole world. From there the Lord scattered them over the face of the whole earth. Hey, at least if we get him addicted to a different kind, maybe he'll drink something else. Maybe. Please drink some water. No worries, Gigi. Mine was out for a while. Yeah, Gigi's correct. As soon as Cody gets a sip of any kind of energy drink, it's over. No worries. I get it. I get it. I get it. But yeah. So we'll see. Because why? Okay. I think it's my Wi-Fi. I don't think it was. Because even. Yeah, I think my Wi-Fi is being trashed today. Stupid Spectrum. Love you, Gigi. Yeah, I think my Wi-Fi is being trash. It was out all last night, so I don't know. It was out from like 11 o'clock last night to this morning. So Spectrum sucks, but it is what it is. And so we're gonna keep going. We're gonna push on through. From Shem to Abram. Oh yay, more names. I hope y'all are ready. This is the account of Shem's family line. 2 years after the flood, when Shem was 100 years old, he became the father of Arphaxad. And after he became the father of Arphaxad, Shem lived 500 years and had other sons and daughters. When Arphaxad had lived 35 years, he became the father of Shelah. And after he became the father of Shelah, Arphaxad lived 403 years and had other sons and daughters. When Shelah had lived 30 years, he became the father of Eber. After he became the father of Eber, Shelah lived 403 years and had other sons and daughters. When Eber had lived 34 years, he later became the father of Peleg. And after he became the father of Peleg, Eber lived 430 years and had other sons and daughters. When Peleg had lived 30 years, he became the father of Reu. And after he became the father of Reu, Peleg lived 209 years and had other sons and daughters. When Reu had lived 32 years, he became the father of Serug. And after he became the father of Serug, Reu lived 207 years and had other sons and daughters. When Serug had lived 30 years, he became the father of Nahor. And after he became the father of Nahor, Serug lived 200 years and had other sons and daughters. When Nahor had lived 29 years, he became the father of Terah, and after he became the father of Terah, Nahor lived 119 years and had other sons and daughters. And Terah had lived 70 years, he became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. So he named one of his kids after his son. Okay. Whew. Okay. Abram's family. This is the account of Terah's family line. Terah became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran became the father of Lot. While his father Terah was still alive, Haran died in Ur of the Chaldeans, in the land of his birth. Abram and Nahor both married. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah. She was the daughter of Haran. Whoa, what? Okay. Haran. So that's a little gross, I guess. And the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah. She was the daughter of Haran, which was his brother's kid? Okay. The father of both Milcah and Iscah. Now Sarai was childless because she was not able to conceive. Terah took his son Abram, his grandson Lot, son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarai, the wife of his son Abram, and together they set out from Ur of the Chaldeans to go to Canaan. But when they came to Haran, they settled there. Terah lived 205 years, and he died in Haran. The call of Abram. The Lord said to Abram, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse. And all peoples on earth will be blessed through you." So Abram went as the Lord told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he set out from Haran. He took his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, all the possessions they had accumulated, and the people they had acquired in Haran, and they set out for the land of Canaan, and they arrived there. Abram traveled through the land as far as the site of the great tree of Moreh at Shechem. At that time the Canaanites were in the land. The Lord appeared to Abram and said, "To your offspring I will give this land." So he built an altar there to the Lord who had appeared to him. From there he went on toward the hills east of Bethel and pitched his tent, with Bethel on the west and I think that's just pronounced I, on the east. There he built an altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord. Then Abram set out and continued toward the Negev. Abram in Egypt. Now there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to live there for a while, because the famine was severe. As he went about to enter Egypt, he said to his wife Sarai, "I know what a beautiful woman you are. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, 'This is his wife.' Then they will kill me, but let you live. Say you are my sister, so that I will be treated well for your sake, and my life will be spared because of you." When Abram came to Egypt, the Egyptians saw that Sarai was a beautiful woman, very beautiful woman. And when Pharaoh's officials saw her, they praised her to Pharaoh, and she was taken into the palace. He treated Abram well for her sake, and Abram acquired sheep and cattle, male and female donkeys, male and female servants, and camels. But the Lord inflicted serious diseases on Pharaoh and his household because of Abram's wife Sarai. So Pharaoh summoned Abram. "What have you done to me?" he said. "Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why did you say, 'She is my sister,' so that I took her to be my wife? Now then, here is your wife, take her and go." Then Pharaoh gave orders about Abram to his men, and they sent him on his way with his wife and everything he had. Abram and Lot separate. So Abram went up from Egypt to the Negev with his wife and everything he had, and Lot went with him. Abram had been very wealthy in livestock and in silver and gold. From the Negev he went from place to place until he came to Bethel, to the place between Bethel and Ai, where his tent had been earlier, and where he had first built an altar. There Abram called on the name of the Lord. Now Lot, who was moving about with Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents. But the land could not support them while they stayed together, for their possessions were so great that they were not able to stay together. And quarreling arose between Abram's herders and Lot's. The Canaanites and Perizzites were also living in the land at that time. So Abram said to Lot, "Let's not have any quarreling between you and me, or between your herders and mine, for we are close relatives. Is not the whole land before you? Let's part company. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right. If you go to the right, I'll go to the left." Lot looked around and saw that the whole plain of the Jordan toward Zoar was well watered, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose for himself the whole plain of the Jordan and set out toward the east. The two men parted company. Abram lived in the land of Canaan, while Lot lived among the cities of the plain and pitched his tents near Sodom. Now the people of Sodom were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord. The Lord said to Abram after Lot parted from him, "Look around from where you are to the north and south, to the east and west. All the land that you see I will give to you and your offspring forever. I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust, then your offspring could be counted. Go, walk through the length and the breadth of the land, for I am giving it to you." So Abram went to live near the great trees of Mamre at Hebron, where he pitched his tents. There he built an altar to the Lord. Abram rescues Lot. At that time, when Amphrael was king of Shinar, Arioch king of Elasar, Kedorlaomer king of Elam, and Tidal king of Goyim, these kings went to war against Bera king of Sodom, Bersha king of Gomorrah, Shinab king of Admah, Shemabar king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zoar. Okay, that was wild names. All these latter kings joined forces in the valley of Siddim, that is the Dead Sea Valley. For 12 years they had been subject to, we're going to call this guy Ked, subject to Ked, but in the 13th year they rebelled. In the 14th year, Ked and the kings allied with him went out and defeated the Rephaites in Ashtaroth, Karnaim, the Zuzites in Ham, the Emites in Shavah, Kiriathaim, and the Horites. We're going to say Horites. I think that's right. In the hill country of Seir, as far as El Paran near the desert. Then they turned back and went to En Mishpat, that is Kadesh, and they conquered the whole territory of the Amalekites, as well as the Amorites who were living in the Hazazon Tamar. Oh my gosh, there's so many names. Then the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zoar, marched out and drew up their battle lines in the valley of Siddim against Ked, king of Elam, Tidal, king of Goyim, Amphrael, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, 4 kings against 5. Now the valley of Siddim was full of tar pits, and when the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some of the men fell into them, and the rest fled into the hills. The 4 kings seized all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their food, then they went away. They also carried off Abram's nephew Lot and his possessions, since he was living in Sodom. A man who had escaped came and reported this to Abram the Hebrew. Now Abram was living near the great trees of Mamre the Amorite, a brother of Eshcol. and Anar, all of whom were allied with Abram. When Abram heard that his relative had been taken captive, he called out the 318 trained men born in his household and went in pursuit as far as Dan. During the night, Abram divided his men to attack them, and he routed them, pursuing them as far as Hobah, north of Damascus. He recovered all the goods and brought back his relative Lot and his possessions, together with the women and the other people. After Abram returned from defeating Ked and all the kings allied with him, the king of Sodom came out to meet him in the valley of Shaveh, that is, the king's valley. Then Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. Hey, Ghastly! He was the priest of God Most High, and he blessed Abram, saying, Blessed be to Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and praise be to God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hand. We're about to be at Genesis 15. Then Abram gave him a tenth of everything. The king of Sodom said to Abram, Give me the people and keep the goods for yourself. But Abram said to the king of Sodom, With raised hand I have sworn an oath to the Lord, God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, that I will accept nothing belonging to you, not even a thread or the strap of a sandal, so that you will never be able to say, I made Abram rich. I will accept nothing but what my men have eaten and the share that belongs to the men who went with me. To Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, let them have their share. Okay. Time for a sip of water. Okay. The Lord's covenant with Abraham. After this, the Lord came to Abram in a vision. Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield. Your very great reward. But Abram said, Sovereign Lord, what can you give me since I remain childless, and the one who will inherit my estate is Eliezer of Damascus? And Abram said, You have given me no children, so a servant in my household will be my heir. Then the word of the Lord came to him, This man will not be your heir, but a son who is your own flesh and blood will be your heir. He took him outside and said, Look up at the sky and count the stars, if indeed you can count them. Then he said to him, So shall your offspring be. Abram believed the Lord, and he credited it to him as righteousness. He also said to him, I am the Lord who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans, to give you this land to take possession of it. But Abram said, Sovereign Lord, how can I know that I will gain possession of it? So the Lord said to him, Bring me a heifer, a goat, and a ram, each 3 years old, along with a dove and a young pigeon. Abram brought all these to him, cut them in two, and arranged the halves opposite each other. The birds, however, he did not cut in half. Then birds of prey came down on the carcasses, but Abram drove them away. As the sun was setting, Abram fell into a deep sleep, and a thick and dreadful darkness came over him. Then the Lord said to him, Know for certain that for 400 years your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own, and they will be enslaved and mistreated there. But I will punish the nation they serve as slaves, and afterward they will come out with great possessions. You, however, will go to your ancestors in peace and be buried at a good old age. In the 4th generation your descendants will come back here, for the sin of the Amorites has not yet reached its full measure. When the sun had set and darkness had fallen, a smoking firepot with a blazing torch appeared and passed between the pieces. On that day the Lord made a covenant with Abraham and said, To your descendants I give this land, from the Wadi of Egypt to the great river the Euphrates, the land of the Kenites, Kenizzites, Cadmonites, Hittites, Perizzites, Rephaites, Amorites, Canaanites, Girgashites, and Jebusites. Those I at least kind of know. Okay, Hagar and Ishmael. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had borne him no children, but she had an Egyptian slave named Hagar. So she said to Abram, The Lord has kept me from having children. Go, sleep with my slave. Perhaps I can build a family through her. Abram agreed to what Sarai said. So after Abram had been living in Canaan 10 years, Sarai, his wife, took her Egyptian slave Hagar and gave her, all the ites. and gave her to her husband to be his wife. He slept with Hagar, and she conceived. When she knew she was pregnant, she began to despise her mistress. Then Sarai said to Abram, "You are responsible for the wrong I am suffering. I put my slave in your arms, and now that she knows she is pregnant, she despises me. May the Lord judge between you and me." "Your slave is in your hands," Abram said. "Do with her whatever you think best." Then Sarai mistreated Hagar, so she fled from her. The angel of the Lord found Hagar near a spring in the desert. It was the spring that is beside the road to Shur. And he said, "Hagar, a slave of Sarai, where have you come from and where are you going?" Cotton Eye Joe. Sorry, the ADHD is running wild. "I'm running from my mistress Sarai," she answered. Then the angel of the Lord told her, "Go back to your mistress and submit to her." The angel added, "I will increase your descendants so much that they will be too numerous to count." The angel of the Lord said to her, "You are now pregnant, and you will give birth to a son. You shall name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard your misery. He will be a wild donkey of a man." I don't think that's a full compliment. Uh, his hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him. He will live in hostility toward all his brothers. She gave this name to the Lord who spoke to her. "You are the God who sees me," for she said, "I have now seen the one who sees me." That is why the well was called Beer Lahai Roi. It is still there between Kadesh and Bered. So Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram gave the name Ishmael to the son she had born. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore him Ishmael. The covenant of circumcision. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am God Almighty. Walk before me faithfully and be blameless. Then I will make my covenant between me and you will greatly increase your numbers." Abram fell face down, and God said to him, "As for me, this is my covenant with you. You will be the father of many nations. No longer will you be called Abram, but your name will be Abraham. For I have made you a father of many nations. I will make you very fruitful. I will make nations of you, and kings will come from you. I will establish my covenant as an everlasting covenant between me and you and your descendants after you for the generations to come, to be your God and the God of your descendants after you. The whole land of Canaan, where you now reside as a foreigner, I will give as an everlasting possession to you and your descendants after you, and I will be their God." Then God said to Abraham, "As for you, you must keep my covenant, you and your descendants after you, for the generations to come. This is my covenant with you and your descendants after you, the covenant you are to keep. Every male among you shall be circumcised. You are to undergo circumcision, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and you. For the generations to come, every male among you who is 8 days old must be circumcised, including those born in your household or bought with money from a foreigner, those who are not your offspring. Whether born in your household or bought with your money, they must be circumcised. My covenant in your flesh is to be an everlasting covenant. Any uncircumcised male who has not been circumcised in the flesh will be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant." Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. And if you want to follow along, we are now in Genesis 17:15. God also said to Abraham, "As for Sarai, your wife, you are no longer to call her Sarai. Her name will be Sarah. I will bless her and will surely give you a son by her. I will bless her so that she will be the mother of nations. Kings of peoples will come from her." Abraham fell face down. He laughed and said to himself, "Will a son be born to a man 100 years old? Will Sarah bear a child at the age of 90? And Abraham said to God, "If only Ishmael might live under your blessing." Then God said, "Yes, but your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will call him Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him as an everlasting covenant for his descendants after him. And as for Ishmael..." Yeah, a wild time. But welcome in. It's going good. We recently just finished the New Testament because when I started doing this, I started in the New Testament, but we are now back in Genesis and we're going from here to all the way through the Old Testament. Uh, but yeah, wild part to come into. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. I will surely bless him. I will make him fruitful and will greatly increase his numbers. He will be the father of 12 rulers, and I will make him into a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you by this time next year. When he had finished speaking with Abraham, God went up from him. On that very day, Abraham took his son Ishmael and all those born in his household, or bought with his money, every male in his household, and circumcised them, as God told him. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised, and his son Ishmael was 13. Abraham had his son Ishmael and his son Ishmael were both circumcised on that very day. And every male in Abraham's household, including those born in his household or bought from a foreigner, was circumcised with him. Yeah, that was a wild section to come into. At least you didn't come in during like the wildness of Revelation, because that was what we just finished last week. Yeah, that was also wild, but the three visitors. The Lord appeared to Abraham near the great trees of Mamre while he was sitting at the entrance to his tent in the heat of the day. Abraham looked up and saw 3 men standing nearby. When he saw them, he hurried from the entrance of his tent to meet them and bowed low to the ground. He said, "If I have found favor in your eyes, my lord, do not pass your servant by. Let a little water be brought, and then you may all wash your feet and rest under this tree. Let me get you something to eat, so you can be refreshed, and then go on your way, now that you have come to see your servant." "Very well," they answered, "do as you say." So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah. "Quick," he said, "get 3 seahs of the finest flour and knead it and bake some bread." Then he ran to the herd and selected a choice tender calf and gave it to a servant who hurried to prepare it. Then he brought some curds and milk and the calf that had been prepared and set these before them. While they ate, he stood near them under a tree. "Where is your wife Sarah?" they asked him. "There in the tent," he said. Then one of them said, "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah your wife will have a son." Now Sarah was listening at the entrance to the tent, which was behind him. Abraham and Sarah were already very old, and Sarah was past the age of childbearing. So Sarah laughed to herself as she thought, "After I am worn out and my Lord is old, will I now have this pleasure?" Then the Lord said to Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh and say, 'Will I really have a child now that I am old?' Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son." Sarah was afraid, so she lied and said, "I did not laugh." But he said, "Yes, you did laugh." Called out. Abraham pleads for Sodom. When the men got up to leave, they looked down toward Sodom, and Abraham walked along with them to see them on their way. Then the Lord said, "Shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do? Abraham will surely become a great and powerful nation, and all nations on earth will be blessed through him. For I have chosen him so that he will direct his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is right and just, so that the Lord will bring about for Abraham what he has promised him." Then the Lord said, "The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great and their sin is so grievous that I will go down and see if what they have done is as bad as the outcry that has reached me. If not, I will know." The men turned away and went toward Sodom, but Abraham remained standing before the Lord. Then Abraham approached him and said, "Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you really sweep it away and not spare the place for the sake of the 50 righteous people in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing, to kill the righteous with the wicked, treating the righteous and the wicked alike. Far be it from you. Will not the judge of all the earth do right?" The Lord said, "If I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake." Then Abraham spoke up again. "Now that I have been so bold speak to the Lord, though I am nothing but dust and ashes. What if the number of the righteous is less than 50? Will you destroy the whole city for the lack of 5 people? If I find 45 there, I will not destroy it, he said. Once again he spoke to him. What if only 40 people are found there? He said, for the sake of 40, I will not do it. Then he said, may the Lord not be angry, but let me speak. What if only 30 can be found there? He answered, I will not do it if I find 30 there. Abraham said, now that I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, what if only 20 can be found there? He said, for the sake of 20, I will not destroy it. Then he said, may the Lord not be angry, but let me speak just once more. What if only 10 can be found there? He answered, for the sake of 10, I will not destroy it. When the Lord had finished speaking with Abraham, he left, and Abraham returned home. Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed. The 2 angels arrived at Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gateway of the city. When he saw them, he got up to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground. My lords, he said, please turn aside to your servant's house. You can wash your feet and spend the night, and then go on your way early in the morning. No, they answered, we will spend the night in the square. But he insisted so strongly that they did go with him and entered his house. He prepared a meal for them, baking bread without yeast, and they ate. Before they had gone to bed, all the men from every part of the city of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house. They called to Lot, where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so that we can have sex with them. That's really in some contexts, that's not the word used. It's assault. Yeah. But that assault. Lot went outside to meet them and shut the door behind him and said, no, my friends, don't do this wicked thing. Look, I have 2 daughters who have never slept with a man. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do what you like with them. But don't do anything to these men, for they have come under the protection of my roof. Wild. That is wild. Get out of our way, they replied. This fellow came here as a foreigner, and now he wants to play the judge. We'll treat you worse than them. They kept bringing pressure on Lot and welcome in. Yeah, wild stuff. I lost where I was. They kept bringing pressure on Lot and moved forward to break down the door. But the men inside reached out and pulled Lot back into the house and shut the door. Then they struck the men who were at the door of the house, young and old, with blindness, so that they could not find the door. The 2 men said to Lot, do you have anyone else here, sons-in-law, sons or daughters, or anyone else in the city who belongs to you? Get them out of here, because we are going to destroy this place. The outcry to the Lord against its people is so great that he has sent us to destroy it. Hi, welcome in. We're in Genesis 19:14 now. If you want to follow along, if not, I'm happy to have you listening. So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law, who were pledged to marry his daughters. He said, hurry and get out of this place, because the Lord is about to destroy the city. But his sons-in-law thought he was joking. With the coming of dawn, the angels urged Lot, saying, hurry, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished. When he hesitated, the men grasped his hand and the hands of his wife and his 2 daughters, and led them safely out of the city, for the Lord was merciful to them. As soon as they had brought them out, and one of them said, flee for your lives, don't look back, don't stop anywhere in the plain. Flee to the mountains, or you will be swept away. But Lot said to them, no, my lords, please, your servant has found favor in your eyes, and you have shown great kindness to me in sparing my life. But I can't flee to the mountains. This disaster will overtake me, and I will die. Look, there's a town near enough to run to, and it is small. Let me flee to it. It is very small, isn't it? Then my life will be spared. He said to him, very well, I will grant this request too. I will not overthrow the town you speak of, but flee there quickly, because I cannot do anything until you reach it. That is why the town was called Zoar. By the time Lot had reached Zoar, the sun had risen over the land. Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Thus he overthrew those cities and the entire plain, destroying all those living in the cities, and also the vegetation in the land. But Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. Early the next morning, Abraham got up and returned to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked down toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward the land of the plain. He saw dense smoke rising from the land, like smoke from a furnace. So when God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham, and he brought Lot out of the catastrophe that overthrew the cities where Lot had lived. Lot and his daughters. Lot and his 2 daughters. Yeah, she was salty. That was a bad one. I regretted it as soon as it came out of my mouth. Hey, but that's why you do what you're told. Lot and his 2 daughters left Zoar and settled into the mountains, for he was afraid to stay in Zoar. He and his 2 daughters lived in a cave. One day the older daughter said to the younger, "Our father is old, and there is no man around to give us children, as is the custom over all over the earth. Oh my gosh, now I can't talk. Y'all got me laughing. You could certainly say okay. Let's get our father to drink wine, then sleep with him and preserve our family line through our father." That is also wild. Like, the Old Testament, just pure wild. That night they got their father to drink wine, and the older daughter went in and slept with him. He was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. The next day, the older daughter said to the younger, "Last night I slept with my father. Let's get him to drink wine again tonight, and you go in and sleep with him, so we can preserve our family line through our father." Hello, hello, welcome in, welcome in. You're coming in at a wild time near the end of Genesis 19. So they got their father to drink wine that night also, and the younger daughter went in and slept with him. Again, he was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. So both Lot's daughters became pregnant by their father. The older daughter had a son, and she named him Moab. He is the father of the Moabites of today. The younger daughter also had a son. She named him Ben-Ammi. He is the father of the Ammonites of today. Yeah, because they're such small sections, they're kind of easy to forget, but then also it's like I kind of want to forget forget parts of these. They are important, but also it's just like wild. Yeah, so we're working our way through the Old Testament now. We just finished the New Testament. So Revelation was wild. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm not looking forward to like Numbers and Chronicles and parts of Kings where it's all the names and the family trees. That's going to be the rough one because those are going to be hard for me. But I think we're going to stop at 20 because I think every 10 is not bad places to stop instead of by time. Well, let's see. I'm going to take a peek and see if we have anyone that we can maybe raid. Ooh. Twitch. Okay. Okay, there we go. We should be good now. Maybe. uh, I always appreciate the stream. Absolutely. But let me pray us out and then we're gonna raid we're gonna go raid Forged by Grace because he's live right now. And I don't think he's doing a Bible stream. I think he's playing a game. But we'll still go and hang out for a minute and say hi. But let me go ahead and pray us out. Dear Lord, thank you for another wonderful day of being in your word together. Thank you so much for each and every person who gets to read and hear your word, Lord. Thank you for bringing everyone here, whether it's during the stream or watching the VODs, Lord. Thank you for each and every person. Be with each of us as we go through our day. Those having hard times, be with them, keep your hand on them, give them the peace that they need, Lord, and be with those having good times as well. Let them be reminded that it is your will. And bring us all back together at our appointed hour. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I hope you guys do have a fantastic day, and I hope you remember that you are incredibly loved and safe under his wings. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. But we're gonna go raid Forged by Grace, okay? So I hope you guys are ready. Say hi, give lots of love, because he is so cool, and I'm I'm glad you were all here. But I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.